Good morning, YouTubers. Forest Boy here. Welcome to Wales on a beautiful sunny day. It's a bit fresh, but it surely is a nice day. So today I'm going to hopefully do a little bit of off-road up in mid-Wales, but also do a 12-month review of the 1250 GS Trophy edition. I've had it nearly 12 months now. It's only a couple of days away, or a week or so. Give my thoughts and views, and I'll tell you exactly what it's cost me to own it for a year in regards maintenance, servicing, tyres, brake pads, all that kind of thing, the usual running costs. It's done 15,000 miles, which is a little bit short of my normal annual mileage, but some of you might know I had to have had a bit of cancer back in last year, so I had to have a couple of operations to get rid of it. So anyway, if that's something that's interesting you, get yourself a cup of tea, join me after the intro. What a sight. Gosh. That's beautiful. And people all out enjoying a bit of some winter sunshine. Although it's spring now. I've had 4 GSs in my motorcycling life. My first one was an old 06, I think it was, which was the one I used to do all the round the world stuff. That did 76,000 miles. Never missed a beat. It had nothing on it, it had no gadgets, no electronics, nothing. It was the most basic GS you could find, but it was fantastic. Never missed a beat. I rode it to Alaska, I rode it to China, I rode it to Africa, I rode it all over Europe, I rode it in the United States, I rode it in Canada. I mean, I rode it everywhere. Then I had other bikes, and then I bought a GSA, 1200 GSA, which I really like that bike. But I had an accident, not on the bike, I had a motor, oh look at that. I had an accident and I broke my shoulder and hand and one thing and another, and I just found that after, when I was recovering, I couldn't hold the bike up. It was okay riding it, but pushing it, manoeuvre it around. I dropped it a couple of times, so I got rid of it and bought 1250, just a standard 1250, the black one, which was the one I started making videos on. And then a year ago I bought this one. I absolutely love this bike. It is everything I want out of a bike. And I don't think I'm a GS fanboy. Maybe I am, but I just love this bike. It just does everything, and it does everything well. It's so easy to ride, it's so forgiving, it's comfortable, it's quick enough, well, quick enough for me. I hear nonsense on the internet, people saying, oh, it's underpowered and it's sluggish, and a load of rubbish. How fast can you actually go on the main roads when 135 brake horse or whatever it is isn't enough? I mean, I think it's just rubbish. Anyway, here we are. Well, this one's not overflowing. Change the mode. Little bit of off-road coming up. Morning! You have to be careful through here. You get lots of walkers and you get lots of Land Rovers actually as well. Don't go too crazy. Don't want to upset anybody, or definitely don't want to injure anybody. Get it shut down. Plenty of water in here. It's going to look a mess when I stop. Oh, surprising how windy it is out here. We've got a gnarly bit coming up now. Keep the momentum up here because it's a bit loose. Oh, that was close. Oh. There we go. So, here we are. I'm going to try and do it here, even though it's a bit windy, because it's such a gorgeous location. So, 1250 GS Trophy Edition. I've had it almost 12 months, as I said on the way up. I've done a review before on it at 6 months. It's just a fantastic bike. I mean, it's done 15,000 miles in 12 months, which, again, as I said earlier, my mileage would normally be 18,000 at least, but it's been a strange year. What is there to say about it? I've not added anything to it new other than these muffs, which were in my last review when I talked about the Raid tyres. Oh, and the little winglet thing on the top. That's all I've put on it, really. All the other bits were off my old bike. The cover around the speed, the dash, the extensions to the handguards, the top box, the quad lock. Oh, I bought a tank bag. I bought, I'm not sure what it is. SW Motec, I think, tank bag to put all the recording kit in, so I don't have to put it. It's all in one place. So I haven't got it chucked all over the place. It's all in one spot. So I did buy a SW Motec. Quite a good bag actually. Took it to Scotland. It worked really well. It's not waterproof. It's showerproof at best. But yeah, it's okay. It does the job. So, what does the bike cost me? 12 months ownership. I got all the receipts out last night before I left home so that I could give exact figures as to what it's cost. So bear with me a minute and I'll sort that out. Okay, so in the year it's had three services. The first service was the 600 mile one, which was £141. The 6,000 mile service was £148, and the big service, the 12,000 mile, when they do all sorts of stuff, I'm not technical so I don't know, was £316. So the total servicing costs from BMW Motorrad for 15,000 miles or 12 months has been £606, which I think is pretty good. I mean, if you compare that to a Ducati or a Triumph 1200, not sure about KTM's, and certainly the Honda Africa Twin, that is considerably cheaper. So through the course of the year I've put on 2 new sets of tyres, so I've gone through 3 sets of tyres, which is about right for me, 5,000 miles a set. It came with Bridgestone A4s, which are about, I priced them up last night, they were £240. I replaced those with Michelin 6s, which I prefer. I've found the receipt for those were £270. I then put on the Dunlop Trailmax Raid. I've still got the original front. I've had to put a new rear on, so that's come to £350. So that's 3 sets of tyres in 15,000 miles. There's still a bit left on the back one and the front one, to be honest, so I'll probably get another couple of thousand out of these. But that's normal for me with tyres. If you saw my review on the Dunlop Trailmax Raid, that's about right for me. So have I had any issues with the bike? No, none whatsoever. It's been on 2 or 3 big trips now, I'm not sure. It's been to the Europe twice. It's done the Pyrenees trip last summer. It did the Scotland trip this winter. Those 2 trips were, I think, about 4,500 miles. Never missed a beat. The Scotland trip was in horrendous conditions, but the bike was superb. Oh, that's close. Nearly cross-rutted then. Get in the rut, stay in the rut. Oh, I might go down to the bridge. A couple more geese there. Oh, quite a few actually. I think this is as far as I can go. somebody said stopped you going through the next bit, so I'm not going to risk it. So no right away from here on, so I'm going to call it there. So there she is, 1200 GS Trophy. I've had it a year, 15,000 miles. It's been faultless, hasn't missed a beat. It's been all over Europe, Scotland a couple of times. It's just an amazing bike. Apparently the 1300 is better, but from all the reviews I've seen, it's only slightly better. It's better in every way, but not light years better. There's a little bit more power. Personally, I don't need any more power. That's got enough for me. It's comfortable. It's not economical. It's not light. It's heavy. It's heavy on tires, but that's probably more to do with me. As I've said before, I see reviews where people get 8,000-10,000 miles out of a tire. God knows how. I can't get anywhere near it. I've seen people saying they get 60 to the gallon MPG. I can't get anywhere near that either. I'd like that bike, but 30 kilos heavier. But I'm not going to find it, am I? I like the size because I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2". I'm 13.5 stone. It fits me well. I can ride it all day. As I said, I'm in Scotland. We were doing 9-hour days. No problem whatsoever. One of the guys that came with me, I've done this conversion on his seat for him. So I've got a layer of memory foam on top of the original foam, which I then sculpt to whatever shape you want. This is sculpted to suit me. It shifts me back a bit. I've got bar risers which come up and back as well, so that compensates this. Because the standard GS seat, for a start, I find it horrendously uncomfortable, and it pushes me into the tank. I ride front high, back low, and that's it. I put the cool cover on because it just gives me that extra little bit. The bar risers, as I say, yeah, I can ride it all day. I can do 10-hour days if I need to, 12-hour days if I need to. I'm going to be stiff, of course I am. I can be stiff on any bike, but I can think of a lot of bikes that I've ridden. I'd be crippled after a 10 or 12-hour day. I certainly wouldn't want to go back out the next day, whereas this I can do 8, 9, 10-hour days, day after day after day if I'm on a big tour. I got to say, as I'm getting older, I want to do less of those, but, you know, I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. Spoke wheels, they're a pain in the ass to clean. Absolute pain in the ass. In fact, since I've had it, they haven't been cleaned since after the first couple of months. I managed to keep them clean for the first couple of months, and then they just got crapped up, and I just, as I said, I've got some Autoglym tire remover at home. I should take them out and clean them up and get them back into decent condition. I've got a set of rails for it off my old GSA. You can see I've got the hangers on there. So I've got rails off the GSA and a couple of aluminium panniers which I take on tour. I like them. I can get everything I want in them. If I'm taking a group of people, I've got one is for me, and the other one is bits and pieces like battery chargers, toolkits, just stuff like that to keep people out of trouble. If they should get into trouble, and hopefully they don't. Oh, I know what I didn't mention, brake pads. Brake pads. I have put on 2 sets of rear. So since the originals, I wore the original rears out and I put another 2 sets on, and those 2 sets cost me £46.98 for the 2. for the rear. I've put a set of fronts on, one set since the originals, and to be honest, I think I need another set now. And those cost me $57.99. So that's one, the original set plus one on the front, the original set plus two on the rear. And the rear were $46.98 and the fronts were $57.99. I bought them from a guy on eBay. I've been buying brake pads off for donkey's years. They're EBCs. They do what I want to do. For some reason, it does use a lot of rear pads. I don't think I use a lot of rear brake, but I obviously do. Those servicing costs from BMW don't include doing brakes and things like that. I do all that kind of work myself. I take off calipers, I change and clean calipers out, I replace brake pads, I do all that kind of stuff. I don't go to BMW for tyres, I find my own tyres. I've got a local tyre guy who's very good, looks after me. Would I buy another GS? Yes, in a heartbeat. Am I a GS fanboy? No, I don't think I am, but it just does everything I want. Again, with the mileage that I do, servicing cost is a massive issue for me, because it's you know, it's a big part of ownership. If you only do 2,000-3,000 miles a year, which a lot of bikers do, and there's nothing wrong with that, they're their bikes, they use them how they want. If you only do 2,000 or 3,000 miles a year, then servicing's not really a big deal, is it? It doesn't matter. I would love a Ducati V4S, but my God, I just couldn't afford to own it. It would bankrupt me. I don't think my wife would be very happy. There'd be no more holidays. Whoa! Got it sideways then. Oh, I love it. Yeah, the bike's so much better than it should be. And then everybody knows that. Everybody knows about the GS, That's why I've not gone into technical stuff, because there's 1,000, 10,000 reviews out there on the technical stuff. And I'm not a techie person, if I'm honest. It's like the dash. I set the dash up and that's where it stays. I never mess with it. I flick it onto the sat nav so I can check tyre pressures and things like that, and I can zoom in and out of the map. But the dash, no, I just leave it alone. It's set up how I want it. And if it wasn't, I'd live with the dash that was on it. If I bought the bike, I accept the dash that's on it, you know. I'm not... People are obsessed with these TFT screens and dashes. It's a dash, it gives you a bit of information. The gearbox. I suppose I should mention the gearbox. It's okay. It's no better now than when I first bought it. It's no better than when I first bought it at Desert X there, I think. It regularly misses a down change, sticks and won't let me go down, which is, if you're muling into corners and using the engine braking, can be quite terrifying, but it definitely has not got any better. The gearbox on the new 1300 apparently is better. I'd have to ride it myself to decide on that. The gearbox is, as I've said before, it's agricultural. I hear people say, oh, my gearbox never misses a gear, it's perfect every time and it's silky smooth. Well, good for you, because mine isn't, and none of mine have ever been like that. Brakes are brilliant. It's a big, oh, here's that gnarly bit. It's a big lump of a bike. Oop. It's a big heavy lump of a bike, as you can see there, but the brakes are absolutely brilliant. Look at this. Yeah, they stopped the bike. What more do you want them to do? That's their job, they do their job. If there's one thing I don't like, it's the ridiculous rear lights. Absolutely stupid. The bloke who designed them should be made to eat them, because they are not fit for purpose. How on earth they passed all the safety tests is beyond me. Yeah, you can buy a conversion kit to put them right. Why should I buy a conversion kit for a bloody £18,000 bike to make the rear lights right? I mean, it absolutely pisses me off, excuse my French. And the new 1300 is exactly the same. So despite all the criticism, and there's been a lot, I haven't heard one person in favour of the stupid lights on the back. Despite all the criticism, a BMW insist on sticking with them. Ridiculous. If I'm indicating to turn left or right and I need to brake at the same time, you cannot see the indicator from behind, because the brake light, the indicator is built into the brake light, and the brake light dazzles so much, or is so bright, that you can't see the indicator in the middle of it. That's all right to say, well, yeah, but if they see your brake light on, they should be slowing down. Well, maybe they should. The fact is, everybody that rides behind one of these things says, bloody hell, I didn't know you were turning right, I didn't know you were turning left, I saw your brake lights come on, but I didn't know you were turning, I could not see your indicator. Well, great, thanks BMW. It's a piss poor idea. It's so bad that people are now making a lot of money designing and selling kits to rectify the fault. That's how bad it is. Sorry if I'm having a bit of a rant now, but I love this bike, but if there is one thing that I don't like, it's that. And I do think it's a serious safety issue, and it should be addressed. And what are they going to do? Wait until somebody actually gets killed and there's a court case and then change it? Because that's what most of these big companies do. Avoid the responsibility. Would the rear lights and the indicators at the back stop me buying another GS? No, not for a second. Am I going to spend £300 or £400 on a conversion kit? No, am I buggery? Well, I'm well on the way home now. I've stopped and had a bacon sarnie and a cup of tea. I was ready for that. Took a layer off. Oh, I did some sweating on that gravel road. Oh. So I'm still 50 miles from home. I need to get some fuel. This is a cracking road if you can catch it. That's the only overtaking spot back there, so if you don't get that one, gravel. Yeah, so a little bit of off-road, 12 months ownership, not a review as such, just my thoughts on the bike, what it's been like to own and ride. Been fantastic. This is Forest Boy. If you like the video, you like the content, give me a thumbs up, make a comment. If you want to see more, hit the notification and subscribe button and you get told when more come up. So it's Forest Boy signing out. Ride safe, take care, see you all again. Bye for now.